everyone, and welcome to AMHQ Early. I'm meteorologist Jen Carfagno. It is frigid out there this morning across a good chunk of the eastern half of the nation. We got temperatures pretty chilly out there in the capital and affecting pass level driving. The Sierra I-80, be ready for that. Look how much snow in the forecast here. Big amounts coming in, big amounts of rainfall too. Could be 2 to 3 inches of rain. Let's go across the country now. Check out what's happening with Anna Rittis.
Good morning, Jen. Good morning to you at home. Our coast-to-coast weather stories begin in Mississippi.
For sharing that story, you know, certainly grabbing the headlines has been all the flooding happening along the Mississippi River, but you know, other areas affected too. Let's talk about, though, in the south, another story is that how chilly it has gotten out here. Memphis this morning, we've got a cool start. Flood warning does continue for the Mississippi River as the water moves downstream in Memphis. That includes you. We're not going to look for the impact nearly what we saw in places like the St. Louis area, but still up in moderate flood stage. And for Memphis, we're looking at one of our top crests, January crests on record. So let's talk temperatures, though, in the south. We are looking at readings this morning as cold as in Alaska, just like in the Northeast. So Atlanta, we're comparing you to Anchorage, and you know we wouldn't put it up here if it wasn't close. 29 in Atlanta, 30 in Anchorage right now. This is crazy. Colder in Atlanta than Anchorage, Alaska. And there is a bit of a wind chill as well. Certainly the winds have died down a bit from yesterday. That's how the temperatures have been able to bottom out so much out there this morning. But that is going to be a factor for you. 28 in Nashville, 29 in Atlanta. Tampa temperatures starting off about 50. I bet there's a lot of spots in the 40s this morning, and another chilly day ahead across the hearing that in the update. We're going to go now to our weekend in view, and we're going to focus on the series of storms coming into the west. That's eventually going to track across the nation. Starting a Tuesday, very cold across the east, the coldest of the season, and yesterday was the coldest before that. And then as we get you into Wednesday, you're going to notice, of course, the west very active, but we start to get some pieces of energy into the middle of the country. Still cold enough that we'll see some snow in Minnesota and Wisconsin. Then by Thursday, you can see we'll get some snow up into Wisconsin and UP of Michigan, but a lot of rain tracking in Chicago with temperatures going up into the 30s and 40s. It's more rain by Friday. That tracks east all the way by the end of the week into Friday into the weekend. Rain into places like New York City. But then we get the snow matching up with the cold matching up with the moisture, and that's where we get the snow. We'll go from Denver to Minneapolis to maybe places like Madison, Wisconsin. Saturday wrapping things up with some snow, but then rain in places like Atlanta. It's that mild. Temperatures go back to 60. But you see the West Coast, no rest. We got another system lined up here as we get you into the weekend, and we'll see that on Saturday. Sunday, it's the Northeast that remains active and helpful. And folks traveling this morning, you might need those snow tires. We'll show you where. It's 20 minutes past the hour on AMHQ Early. We are your travel HQ. Anna Rittis, pretty nasty commute yesterday in parts of the Northeast. We had snow, especially out towards the Cape, the ocean effect snow.
So yeah, you were talking about the ocean effect snow and how those bands could come down really fast and affect visibility and also affect your traction while you're driving. Well, 4 people are headed to the hospital after more than 20 collisions on a wintry stretch of Route 3 in Duxbury, Massachusetts. NECN's Alicia Rodriguez talked to some of those who tried to tackle the snowy and slippery route.
It is half past the hour on AMHQ Early, and it's a bitterly cold start this morning in the east. The snow is gone, though, but through driving. Look at temperatures now, because now the snow is out of here in places like Pittsburgh, but it's cold. It's feeling sub-zero in a lot of spots. Actual readings are colder than in Alaska. So Philly and Fairbanks, we're going to put you neck and neck and see where we're at right now at this hour. It is 13 degrees in Philadelphia. 15 degrees in Fairbanks. So, oh, so close, but Philadelphia gets the wind for colder temperature. It is cold, it is windy, and it is dry. Your dew points have dropped off, and they're below zero. When your dew points get this low, this is Arctic air at its sort of best or worst. This is where if you're shocking someone as you walk across the carpet and you wake your kids up this morning, you're going to literally shock them with some static electricity. Extra chapstick you're going to need, extra moisturizer, extra water, everything out there because of the dry, cold air, and it's going to feel very cold this morning. When you factor in the wind plus the temperature, we are feeling like 2 below in Pittsburgh, 4 in New York City, and feeling like 7 below right now in Boston. You're going to feel it out there through the day today. We're not going to see a ton of improvement weather-wise here in terms of the cold. The cold is with us, the wind is with us, and it's not crazy windy, but it's enough to knock about 5 to 10 degrees at least off those temperatures. So as we get you into midweek, though, things change. Today and then somewhat tomorrow, we're going to continue the cold stretch. And then after that, we start the warm up yet again. So here's what happens. We see the ridge build back in across portions of the east. There will be another round of cold coming into the Midwest, but it doesn't get here just yet. And so for New York City, we are below average today, tomorrow, but then we're right back up to average and above average through the weekend. We'll talk too much about warm up, but you know, even in winter, a warm up is still cold enough to produce some snow. So I'll show you where that is coming into the Midwest. Let's start though with the big picture. As we get the weekend in view, we're starting off with the coldest day that we have seen yet this season. You have to go back to last February for a lot of spots to have been this cold. So as we watch our series of storms from the west track in and track across the country, being this cold in the east, you're wondering, well, what's coming? Well, actually, we're going to warm up before these systems get to the east. Wednesday, a couple of snow showers are possible across Minnesota and Iowa. We'll see some rain returning into Texas. And then by the time we get to Thursday, now we start to see our area of low pressure develop. It's going to start to draw up some moisture. We will see temperatures, though, warming up to 36 in Chicago, so it's coming in as rain. As that tracks east, Atlanta, temperatures warming back up into the 50s, upper 50s, so it tracks in as rain. Same thing for you in D.C. and Philly and New York. Friday ending the week on a rainy note here. Chicago, we're 41 degrees on Friday, so big change, big turnaround temperature-wise. But there is some cold air on the back edge of this, and by the weekend, you'll see some snowflakes possible in Des Moines and up into Madison as we track your Saturday forecast. Rain into most of the Northeast, so we'll keep an eye on New England for some spots that could mix in with some wintry precip. Then on Sunday, you can see some more rain sticking around there. Finally, on Sunday in the west, we get a break, but there are another series of storms lined up for next week as well. So very busy on the